I'm doing absolutely golden. Pleasure
Good.
to meet you.
Yes. Well, congratulations on the film. It's a great film. I saw it the other day.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes, of course. And I want to first start by asking you, the film dives into many dynamics. Of course, one of them is bringing Black Western culture to the forefront of mainstream media. So, what is the one key takeaway you hope audiences gain after watching this film?
The one key takeaway I want audiences to gain, the main key takeaway I want audiences to gain from or take away from watching this movie is that these people actually existed in that space and time. That Black people in the Old West weren't subservient, nor were any persons of color weren't subservient, and we weren't slaves. Um, uh, there was decades of the Old West post-slavery. We weren't just these creatures that exist in the canon of the storylines they gave us through Hollywood. And I want them to take away the fact that women were bold and powerful, just like they are today. Just because it was 150 years ago, it doesn't mean women were weaker all of a sudden. You could show us stories where women are not just working girls, women of the night, or this, that, and the other. And you could show us stories that where Black people had power, and people of color had power, and people of different sexes had power and grace and dignity and strength. And that's the main takeaway. I want people to leave and start researching all of the characters that they just saw portrayed on screen.
Yes. And actually, speaking to women, was that the reason why you showcased and developed the women as central characters in the backbone to both Nat Love and Rufus Buck's story?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Women are central characters and the backbone to every single story in the history of mankind.
Right.
They all came from women. There would be no Jesus without Mother Mary.
Oh, yes.
Like, can we please have women in the Old West that aren't just some subservient love interest, that are literally gun-toting. One of my favorite movies, incidentally, is Johnny Guitar, starring Joan Crawford, but they don't do half the things that they should do with Joan Crawford. This is Joan Crawford, one of the most powerful female presences, one of the most powerful presences in the history of cinema. But we get a really underused Joan Crawford because it's a Western, because it's a Hollywood depiction, given to us by the men that were working in those times. I really want to show everyone that there was a much broader scope than what we've been fed. Hence, the harder they fall, which is super hard.
Yeah. And this is actually my last question. So when we meet both Rufus and Nat, we learn that they both are navigating their revenge from a place of hurt and through the lens of a wounded child. And it opens the door to revealing their vulnerabilities. So, as a director, why do you think it's important to showcase the vulnerabilities of Black men on screen?
I believe as a storyteller.
Okay.
Also, without giving out any spoilers. hella spoilerific there. I don't know how we're gonna mute, and you do your thing and we'll get it.
Oh, I got you.
But as a storyteller, I think it's important to show the vulnerabilities of all men. You just get a much more balanced story. Like, men, we cry, we break down in each other's arms, and the image that cinema has always portrayed of men. Why would be it fun? Arnold Schwarzenegger in Commando, John Matrix. Remember when I said I'll kill you last? I lied. I get it, man, but I ain't really. You got your daughter kidnapped. You're gonna be crying your eyes out. You're gonna be getting black crayon and drawing over your face, albeit super dope and cinematic. But what about the other stuff? I love Charles Lawton and David Lean's Hobson's Choice with John Mills. I want to see vulnerability, and I believe the more we show these things, the more kids can grow up and stop thinking that they need to be macho. Macho is tears. Strength is crying. Like, it's just be more truthful in our stories and more balanced in our telling of them, and we'll get a more I think we'll grow more as a people when we can do that. So it was super important. I know it's a long-winded answer. You only have 5 minutes, but this is, I think it's super important to show the vulnerabilities of men, especially like the vulnerabilities of Black men coming together.
Yeah.
This movie is so much swag. I'm tired of being calm.
Well, that is my time. Thank you so much again. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Queen.
Congratulations.
Thank you.